Welcome back to a podcast that almost got ruined by a thunderstorm. My internet went all weird. It stopped the recording, but it's fine. We'd barely gotten into it. Oh God, there's so much going on. Settle down, get a drink. I don't care if you're out for a run listening to this shit.
You settle down. You settle down.
If you're on the bus and you stood up, right, you got to sit down. I mean, you're gonna have to boot out the old lady, and then. That person who's like drinking a bottle of Coke or something, like, oh, sorry, the podcast badly guys said that I need that drink because I got to sit down and have a nice and get a drink and get settled.
Jordan says Coca-Cola's bad for you and it messes up your tummy, so you're not allowed to drink that. If you're looking right now, if you're looking at somebody that's drinking Coke, you have to say to them, sorry, Jordan says that Coca-Cola upsets your tummy and you can't drink it. You have to tell them now.
I'm drinking Coca-Cola, Judd.
It's not good for your tummy.
I actually am. Is that what's wrong with your bowels, Judd? Have you found that out?
That's what's wrong with my bowels.
We'll get into it. We'll get into that later on. We've got some breaking news, apparently, on Judd's bowels coming up.
My bowels.
We've got freak weather storms, animals, strange entities. We've both been on trips. There's been crime. There's been all sorts. I'm actually not fucking joking. This sounds like I'm like naming all the things that people could ever be interested in. I'm not. There's actually stuff to do with all that shit coming up today.
Explosion.
Yeah, there was. There actually was. So anyway, before you tell us about your bowels, Judd, which I'm very eager to hear about, I thought I'd tell you we've had a slightly late start, and it's because my girlfriend wanted to do a little walk before recording the podcast. This is all right. We made sure that as soon as work was done, we start off on a walk. But a thunderstorm started. Yes. Have you seen this shit? It's pretty fucking intense.
Yes.
It's just kind of
crazy weather we're having, pal.
Yeah, that's the UK conversation right there.
We say as we stood at the water cooler, drinking the water.
Yeah. Anyway, it started. It's not actually been raining that much, but there's been thunder and lightning and all sorts kicking off. Which is, I don't know if this is the first podcast we've ever recorded in a thunderstorm, but I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that. Weirdly though, as we were walking around and this thunderstorm's starting, there's an allotment that we walk past, which I don't know if they have allotments in any other countries than England. It's just like kind of you rent out a little bit, a very small patch of farmland to like grow crops on and stuff like that. It's like, what would you say, like 100 square feet?
Yeah, it's just like a tiny little farm. Well, no, like just a tiny little farm almost. Like if you were just doing like a couple of vegetables or something.
Yeah, I would say it's actually more like 50 square feet, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's probably a fairly big one. So yeah.
And I say farm as well, because like it's people do like on you won't know Gas, but Gas is Wayne's dad. He has an allotment and he keeps chickens on it. So like people keep animals and stuff on them.
There was some chickens on the allotment that we walk past on this certain walk, and I say it was because they'd all fucking escaped. There was lots of birds like all over the road, and they were just kind of like sauntering about, just like walking into people's gardens. So before this podcast, I was like having to shoo all these like chickens back towards this allotment because they were like right in it's not a busy road, but people don't go particularly slow down this road, so they could very easily
I don't go slow down your road when I'm coming up to your house.
It's not that road. It's another one kind of round the back, but it's same sort of thing.
I don't go slow on any road.
My car only has one speed, and it's 72 miles an hour. It's actually broken. It's not anything to do with driving. But yeah, that was very interesting. Being as I was shooing them, and then a bunch of them like. They weren't all chickens. A lot of them were chickens, but a lot of them were doves. I think it was like it must have been like, or maybe they were carrier pigeons. Yeah, I'm not sure. Must have been some sort of dove house or something. I think they were doves. So I was shooing them, and they were all kind of moving in the right direction, and I was moving around, getting them there. And then at one point, they all immediately took off, and it scared the shit out of me. But I didn't get any bird poop on me, luckily. So that's good at least.
That is good.
But there was an even stranger occurrence than that happened to me recently.
Stranger Thing?
Yes, and even Space Jam. Wait, what? It's more to do with that. That's a different one. I'm wearing a Space Jam t-shirt, which is relevant to this story, because the other day I was wearing this t-shirt, and I just walked out of my drive. I kind of walked down my garden path.
Yeah.
Walked out my gate, turned left immediately, and then right behind me, this kid goes like louder than I expected. I didn't even know he was there. He goes, "LeBron James." And I was like, "Oh fucking hell!" The sham. I didn't know he was there. And then my girlfriend was with me because we were just popping across the road to water my granddad's tomatoes, and I turned around and looked at him because I didn't know he was there. And then he looked us dead in the eyes and just went, "LeBron James."
Almost like. I love that. I love it. That's great. Like he went, you know, like the me. Like, get it?
See, my yeah. Get it? My girlfriend had the theory that it's because he saw my Space Jam t-shirt, and in the Space Jam reboot, LeBron James is in it.
Yeah,
they might have seen some sort of meme to do it. I don't know, but
but do you not know that's stupid? Like, it's an old Vine meme where literally.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
But the memes around the new Space Jam movie will use that Vine like sound clip.
Yeah.
So she kind of thought it was to do with my t-shirt, which it very well could have been. But I thought that he was doing something that I used to do as a kid. I thought he must have been just saying like memes to almost like a tick, almost like Tourette's in a way. Like just saying shit to himself. Didn't realise we were there, and then as soon as we realised and looked around at him, he tried to like play it off like I meant to do that.
Yeah, that's what. That's totally something at that age as well.
Yeah, because I used to sing to myself all the time. So when I was walking home from school, I'd have a playlist that was the perfect amount of songs. I'd worked it out, and I'd kind of do it so that my third favourite song I'd play first in the playlist. This is out of like 5 songs. Then my second favourite would be second to last, and my favourite would be last. So it were a good kind of set list, and it'd build up to my favourite songs of that type I wanted to listen to on that day. And I'd sing along to them, but with my earphones in, so I didn't know anyone was around me. And sometimes it'd be really obvious that someone's definitely heard me, me singing, and then I'd have to like kind of keep singing to myself to kind of say, "I'm meant to do this. This is confidence." Have you done anything like that before?
Absolutely. I know for a fact that like, because the exact feeling that you get from that happening is happening to me now. Like almost sympathetically, that specific type of cringe. Yeah. So I know I've definitely done it, but I just couldn't tell you like what it is I've done.
It's a weird feeling, but I almost if it's the first time I've ever been the person to kind of discover someone doing that. It's the first time I've been on the opposite end of it.
It could have even like been as like nerdy as or cringy as like. I just like read a good bit in like a Warhammer book or something, like a good line that somebody has said. I was like, oh, like I was just thinking about it, and I just like said it. You know when you think something to yourself and you just say it out loud and you don't mean to. It could have been something like that, but somebody was like I didn't know, so they're just like, what?
Yeah. So sometimes I will do like I'll be thinking of something. And I'll be like thinking of, what would I do? Like I might be like imagining a whole story in my head. I might have a scenario where I've got certain superpowers and like I'm playing out a cool scene of if it were like a movie or something. And I'll be like almost like mouthing some of the words of everyone speaking, not just me that I'm imagining, the other people. And then someone will kind of like clock onto what I'm doing, and I'll notice that they've done that, and I have to be like, oh fuck. I don't like doing this. I have to like pretend I'm like memorizing lines or something like that. Or...
Yeah, I know. I've done. It's such a stupid fucking thing, which I've done. I think I did it on the train earlier. Honestly,
Well, speaking of cringe, we will get into our trips away because I'm sure there'll be some interesting, fun stuff about that recently. That's well worth sticking around. I know there's some crazy shit that happened to me. But first, Judd, we've got to hear it. We've all been awaiting the diagnosis. What's going on with your fucking bowels? Then?
So I know. Sometimes I drink a drink, or I eat at certain things, and my tummy no like it. Now, doctor's diagnosis is that just tummy no like it. That is doctor's diagnosis. So I thought, well then I've got to obviously take this into my own hands. So I cut out like bread and gluten for a bit.
Yeah.
And
see if you need to be gluten free.
Yeah. No dice.
How long was a bit?
Like a week.
Mm.
So, and I was still.
I would have given
it
a couple weeks at least, but
good. But then straight so this is the second thing because we're gonna do this with a few things. But the second thing was El Coca-Cola. That's I don't know if there's many Spanish speakers among you, but that was Spanish for the Coca-Cola. So, yeah, so I cut out Coke, and I gotta say, it was pretty much like almost instant.
So do you think it's specifically Coke, or like? So do you think you could drink Diet Coke, for example?
I don't know because Tom said something about sugar because what happened was I had two sort of testers with this. The first tester was actually because I've been getting the train into work into Leeds now instead of driving all the way through because parking's been a nightmare and it costs too much, and it's actually more cost efficient for me to like spend less on petrol and get the train through. But that's its own other thing. So I've been. God, where was I going with this? I've totally just gone blank. What was I talking about? My tummy, yes, yes, my little baby tummy. So I've been getting the train, and I'd booked online for a cheaper train, and literally because I got a half an hour earlier train than the one I booked, they wanted me to pay a tenner for a single from Leeds to Barnsley. So I was like, I was already on the train at this point when they asked, so I was like, no thanks. I'll get off at the next stop and I'll just wait for my train. So then, because I had nothing to do, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go into a pub and just drink. And like, well, if I shit my guts out in the pub, then like, I'm the only one there.
What
so
do you mean,
who cares?
drink alcohol in the morning?
No. This is the way back. This is on the way back. So I just show up to work fucking blasted.
That's what I was
guys, don't worry, my stomach's fine. Yeah, so I got out and I went to this pub, and I was in this pub for about 2 hours, and I was fine. So I was like, okay, I really want to test.
And what were you drinking in the pub?
That's all I drank. I just had beer.
You actually cut out then. You just had beer. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh! I just had.
I asked you what you had, and then it cut out, and then you said, "And that's all I had." But then,
okay, all right, beer. Yeah, I did. So yeah, I just had beer, and I was totally fine. So then I was like, okay, I really want to test this out now. So I'll quickly go into this now as well. We didn't end up going to Warhammer World on Saturday because I know that was going to be one of your stories later. Turns out there was a huge tournament on that day.
Right.
So, and it was fully booked out, so we couldn't go. So we ended up just going into town.
So we could have gone then, couldn't we?
Well, I was going to ask you about that as well. But so what happened was we ended up just going and having this little nerd game in town in Barnsley town. Nobody's gonna come and murder me in Barnsley town. It's fine. So
it's a big place.
Afterwards we went out to drink, and I think I was drinking from 3 until 10, and I was totally fine. I only went home.
Drinking beer again.
I was just drinking beer again. Apart from, I also had one cocktail, which was I was also okay with. So yeah, in fact I only went home at 10 because, as you know, I've not been drinking recently, so I was steaming. I was absolutely fucked. So I was like, I'm going home. But
any funny stories that happened?
No, not not to
End up
me.
sleeping with a girl and turns out she's got a dick, something like that.
No, I'd probably know that going into it, to be honest. But
yeah, exactly.
No, there wasn't anything funny. I'm just happy to report that it looks like I can drink. But if you think if you think back to it,
because this whole channel was in jeopardy. How can we do this if we're sober?
Yeah, if you think back to it, whenever we've been drinking anything together, it's always been rum and cokes.
So often it's beer. We do get beer quite a bit, but it depends. A lot of the time it does involve Coke, but I think you'll probably end up having to do some trial and error, won't you? Like, you might have to see if can you have Diet Coke, can you have lemonade, what about Fanta, things like that. Is it to do with sugar? Because if you drink like cider, for example, that's going to have loads of sugar in it, and so you'll have to kind of do some trial and error, because you might end up having to drink straight vodka all the time, which has like fuck all in it other than vodka. So.
But yeah, I don't. It's not just. Like I was up yesterday. No, this morning. Sorry, pretty bad with my stomach, and I've not been drinking it, so. I still think that I got a whack ass stomach, but I do know that like the primary instigator for it now is El Coca-Cola, which once again for you who don't speak Spanish is Spanish for the Coca-Cola.
But are you happy with this news? You can just not have Coke.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I really, really do like. So it does really suck.
But you could potentially try and have like.
Well, I've
cola or something.
I've actually replaced it with Ribena.
Ribena, right?
Ribena has
Ribena's fine, is it?
Ribena is totally fine. Yes.
You can mix stuff with Ribena. You could have like vodka Ribena would be good. Stuff like that.
I didn't even know you could do that. I just wanted to replace it with Ribena because I like Ribena.
No, I'm thinking about how we can get you drunk again, because we need this shit, Jed. Come on.
How can we get you drunk on Ribena?
Start fermenting some Ribena. It'll be great. Okay, well, that's some good news. Do some more trial and error, see what happens.
Yeah.
And I suppose we'll find out. So you didn't end up going on your trip.
No.
It's fine anyway, because I'd already told you that I'd booked to go to Liverpool. So there was no way, because the initial thing that I wanted to do on my days off last week was I just wanted to go anywhere, to be honest, that would be fun enough. Yeah. So like, if I kind of sort it all out and pay for it, shall we go to Warhammer World and stay over and just go to some pubs around that place? And then you were like, no, I've got a game like the day after you're wanting to go. So that,
no. It was the day that you wanted to go. Basically, it was just we were having a game there. Which the problem with that is, as much as you like going around and looking at the little plastic men and drinking in the dwarf man's bar, I think you'd rather shit in your hands and clap than have to sit through a 3-hour game of me.
I genuinely, if I'd have gone there, and part of it was, to be honest, I don't mind those two friends that you're going with, but even that would have made it not as fun to me, because the dynamic I just don't think I'd have enjoyed as much as they're like decent guys, and I don't mind like spending time with them and doing stuff with them sometimes. For what I wanted to do, I don't think it would have been particularly good dynamic. So. But if we did go down and it was that scenario, I would have genuinely gone and investigated the Hooters that's in Nottingham near there while you were playing that game.
Yeah, it was it's like 10 minutes as well away from Warhammer World.
We would have totally gone.
Yeah,
we should arrange this trip at some point as well.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, I get it, booby blah, but I have always really wanted to try the wings from Hooters.
Yeah, that's the main attraction. I want the wings.
Yeah, I want the wings.
I like to imagine a scenario where we go, and then one of the waitresses like really into us, or even two waitresses really into us and like leaning over.
She's Southern. She's American Southern because all waitresses from Hooters have to be from they have to be like, hey y'all.
And there's like really into, obviously flirting a lot, and I like to imagine at one point like, listen, I get it, but we're just here for the wings.
Look at me. I know I'm irresistible, but I'm just here for the
wings. That's the scenario I imagine. I think that'd be pretty cool. I kind of have that. That's kind of been. I've got like a back of my mind bucket list type of thing that I've always had, and on that list has been reject the advances of an insanely attractive female. I feel like that'll just be like fun to do one time. But did I do that on my holiday? Ooh, stick around, find out. I didn't. I did not. No one's put advances on me. You kidding me? So I went to Liverpool, and it was quite fun. I just booked one night in a hotel. I got a decent offer, which is how I could afford to stay over there. Not made of money. It was a nice drive down. I stopped for lunch kind of halfway. From the images of the hotel I was supposed to be staying at, it looked like there was going to be like a big outdoor car park in front of the hotel. Yeah. And there definitely wasn't when I got there. It was like on one of the main streets that's got all sorts of bars and things there. Yeah. So I was like... there was traffic, like not loads, just enough to make me like have to drive like I don't know, 10 miles an hour. So I was slowly driving past the entrance to what I knew was my hotel, like looking at it like, well, shit. Going like, what am I supposed to do now? So I kind of just slapped on the nearest car park in my sat nav and thought, well, I'll just leave my car here until I can check in at the hotel, and then they can tell me where their car park is, because I know it said they have a car park. So I went to the shooting simulator bar place. Do you remember me telling you about that?
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was basically like a fancy version of those like light rail shooters, like your House of the Dead and Time Crisis and that. Yeah. It was on a much bigger screen, and you had a choice of... Well, I'll get into that. I'll sort of say it as I go along. So I kind of just wandered over to this place. I thought it was going to be further away. I turned up, and there was two women drinking outside of it, because there was a seating area outside. But it kind of like... It had some short windows, but went like down, like underground. Yeah. The entrance. And I was looking at it, and there was like no one outside it. And this is at like... I want to say like around 1 o'clock, something like that, on a Thursday. So I thought there would have been like more signs of it being open. It looked like there was nobody there, other than these two women who would maybe like got drinks from the bar next door, but it was kind of a bit full, you know, and they just wanted someone else to sit. So I was kind of, when you're on your own, things like this always seem more socially like heightened. You always get worried about things like that a bit more. Like if we were together, or if we were in a group of say 5, we'd just go in, you know? Yeah. But I was on my own, so I was like, oh fuck, is it shut? I don't really know. But because I'd already kind of mustered up the confidence to do the trip in the first place, I was like, come on, let's just go down and see. So I walked down, and there's a dude like kind of sat twiddling his thumbs at this podium thing, and there's a girl kind of just leant behind the bar just on her phone, and I was the only guy in there.
Nice, dude.
I just kind of rocked up and was like, hello, I'd like to do this, please. And you know that like that's how I said it to them.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said, yeah, okay. How many is it for? And I went, just me. And he went, oh, okay. So I did say to him, I did try and book a time slot on your website, but the minimum amount of people it let you put in is 2. So
oh my god.
Yeah, I know. so sad.
Fucking literally from the beginning, they were like, "Look, you are. We're not gonna reject you, but if you're showing up to this alone, you are sad."
No, they were very friendly, and because there were no one else in, they didn't give a fuck really. They thought, oh, that was kind of weird, but then got over it immediately. It was fine. They were quite welcoming, and I liked how it worked because what you do is you give them your debit card, and then it's just sorted, all of it. So they charge you for the shooting stuff, and then you could just go up to the bar, ask for a drink, and they just give you it, and you just take it, and that's it. You don't have to think about it. It just all comes off of your card, and then they give you your card back at the end. And that's because if you break any of the guns, they charge you 500 quid to replace them. So it's like it's almost like a deposit of your entire bank account.
Nice.
So, yeah, he showed me to one of the shooting booths, and on the website it says you only get 2 pistols to choose from, but that was not the case. There was 3 pistols and 2 assault rifles to choose from. It's pretty cool, actually. However, I did find that the assault rifles didn't really work. I think the games weren't set up for them properly. They only worked on one of them only worked on single fire, one that looked like an MP5, which I thought would have been quite fun. And it was really awkward to like look down the sights because you couldn't extend the stock and it stayed there. So the assault rifles kind of sucked. And then there was like a M4A1, which it was on the auto setting, and sometimes it'd shoot single fire, and sometimes it'd shoot like a burst of 4 bullets. And so they didn't really work very well, those ones. The pistols were kind of cool, and it was just kind of a lot of shooting ranges, really. It weren't really anything more than that. I forgot that I was going to do a slideshow for you, Judd, so I'm going to share my screen with you. There. So I'm sharing the guns with you at the minute. That's what the guns looked like. And if you're watching the video version of this, you'll be able to see them on screen as well. So you can see the different ones. I actually, in keeping with how we normally interact with guns when we're trying something shooting-wise out for the first time, I was suspiciously good at it.
Yep.
Like when you went shooting with clay pigeon shooting with Dad for the first time, all the other like people who've been doing it years and years, they were like no one has ever got like that many on their first go. Is your lad all right, Robin? And then he was like, oh, probably not. It's that one. So like, and then he was like, you know what? I'll bring
which one is it?
Which one is it?
Yeah. He like looks over and I'm like just cleaning the gun. He's like, no.
You're taking it to pieces and you're polishing it out.
He's like, not that one.
I find it funny because he thought, right, I'll bring the other one next time, and it'll not be as weird. And then my first time, I got an even higher score, and they were like, mate, Robin, like, there's something going on here. They're part of a cartel or something. So that was that. But I got a second on one of them, I got a third on one of them, and I got 2 first place as on 2 of the games. One of which I got on my first try of it, so that was kind of fucking. I was like, nice. And when I went to the bar in this place, the guy on the desk eventually a group of I think it was just 2 lads together actually ended up going on the one next to me, so I weren't like it weren't that weird. And I went to the bar for another drink, and the guy was like, "Oh, how are you finding it? You enjoying it?" And I went, "Yeah, I've got a couple high scores already." And we're like, "Oh." Okay, that's kind of odd, but it really worked up a sweat. Like I was sweating. It's weird because I'm not particularly athletic at the minute. Got quite a rounded belly.
Nice,
but I was doing this for like an hour and a half. This thing, there was no one else there, so they were kind of like, well, I'll just keep him on it. Like he's more likely to buy more drinks if he's still here. So. And when you've got your arms up for basically an hour and a half, like my arms were up more than they weren't. It fucking hurts. It makes your shoulders ache.
Yeah.
So I was this like weird loner guy who specifically seeked out the only bar that has a gun element to it.
Yeah.
I'm drinking alcohol and I'm sweaty as fuck.
But I have to say though, I I don't. I feel like it's better that you were there drinking, because I feel like if you would have gone there and you would have been like, oh yeah, can I have no alcohol, please, like something with zero alcohol.
Can I just have cranberry juice, please?
Yeah, please,
anything red?
Please. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been weird.
It's like, oh, do you not fancy a Coors? We've got Coors on tap. No, I need to stay alert. I need to be in prime condition.
I need to get some practice in. This is important.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, you need to say something like subtle but alarming enough that like a red flag is. So like I was gonna say, no, thanks. I need to be ready for it to happen at any time. What? What do you need to be? Yeah.
Oh, no, good.
Yeah.
I think I did say something that were a bit socially weird, but not too bad. And you can judge how bad this is. Because the beers didn't like cost money. Well, they did, but like you didn't have to pay for them. I asked how much they were, because I was trying the different beers they've got on tap, because I like to try different beers. And each time I asked how much it costs, and I think they were like, What do you mean you don't have to pay for them? I think that's what they were thinking. But I had to say to her, it's not a problem. It's just I'm interested in how much like beers cost in various places. Because I figured it's going to be more expensive. It's in a big city. It's like it's one of the biggest cities in England, Liverpool. I'm pretty sure. Might have got that wrong. I don't know. It's a bigger city, and normally beer costs a lot more in cities. So I was just interested because I was thinking, do I need to try and pick cheaper beers while I'm here? It was what I was thinking, but I don't know. I think that was a bit of a weird thing to ask as far as they were concerned. Can you see my slideshow, Judd, by the way?
I can, yeah. I'm looking at it.
No, you're not. You're painting a model.
No, I'm looking at it.
So, after that, I went and checked in at the hotel. There wasn't really much to say other than showing you that all of the hotel was Beatles themed, because it's in Liverpool.
Yeah,
I'm showing you the kind of signs that point you to the right rooms, and they've got like the Beatles haircuts on these signs, and every room number had the Beatles on it. I got a free premium room upgrade.
Why?
Which it was just part of the kind of the package I'd bought. It was just because it was through like hotels.com or something like that.
It's kind of that luxury, that lifestyle you lead. Everybody knows that the famous luxury Jake lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. Are you ready for the decor of my so-called premium room?
Go on.
Well, it's the whole walls are covered.
Oh, yikes.
In Beatles, guys.
It's the same reoccurring pattern of like the hair and the facial hair, and
it's one of those kind of like simplistic kind of what is it, like minimalist designs, but you can just tell that it's meant to be the Beatles.
You know it's the Beatles. You know the Beatles, yeah.
I did see that a lot of the rooms were like this, and personally, I don't really care how my room looks. I just wanted my own bathroom with a decent shower, and then all right enough internet. That's all I'm bothered about.
I think that would have made me feel sick if I walked in there. I would have been like, "Look, I gotta." It's
kind of curved in a weird way, and it looks a bit 60s-ish, I suppose. It had a little table like that goes across your desk, and I just across your bed. Sorry, so you can like be laid in bed and kind of pull this table over the top of like your legs and your waist to put stuff on. And I thought, who's that lazy though that they don't want to put something on their lap? Really?
No, I gotta be honest with you. I fuck with the little bed table.
I like it. I used it.
I totally would have had my phone like lent up on that as I was watching videos. I'd be like, I don't think I would have left the bed for the entire vacation.
I brought my tablet and I did sit in bed naked, put that on there, and was drinking like premium honey whiskey. It was like, this is the life.
Yeah.
So I got back to this premium room and discovered that they'd left me these things as well, Judd.
Okay.
It was meant to be a double room. It was meant to be for two people. It's a queen size room and a premium room. So they'd left 2 pairs of fresh slippers, new slippers, and 2 dressing gowns as well. So obviously, the first thing I did was slap one of those on and,
Yeah.
and prance about in the mirror, being like, "Hey, king in the
Yeah.
castle." King. And I didn't wear it once after that. I just put it on. I was like,
Good.
Nice.
Were they for you to keep or just while you were there?
I'm pretty sure I could have kept them if I wanted, because they felt like disposable ones.
Yeah.
I'm sure the slippers were, because they came in plastic wrapping. So I don't think anyone else will have worn the dressing gowns, to be honest. So that was that. That felt great. I had a shower to wash off all the gun sweat, which I thought was quite funny. I had a beer, obviously. I'd brought some cans of beer with me and a little sip of that fancy whiskey that we did a taste test of, and then got ready to head back out again. So I headed out, and I was thinking, my plan was, I'm going to go and take a picture with the Beatles statue real quick to show my grandma when I get back. It's kind of like the most iconic thing there, I'd have thought. But along the way, I saw this, and apparently Paramount had shut off a lot of the roads on that day because they were filming for something. And you can see, if you watch the video version of the podcast, you'll be able to see there's like big green screens up near where I was going, and some old-timey looking cars and things like that had like camera mounts attached to them and things. And I did some Googling to see if I could find out what Paramount's currently filming in Liverpool, and they're filming Sexy Beasts.
Oh!
Do you know that? You heard of that?
No.
So apparently, there's an older movie called Sexy Beast, and this is like a kind of like reboot sequel thing for it. It's set in the 80s or 90s or something in London, but they were using Liverpool as older-timey London. Don't know if anyone's interested in that, but it was kind of interesting to see like a, I guess, Hollywood level kind of movie. I don't know if it's Hollywood level, but yeah. Anyway, that was kind of interesting. So I took a fancy picture of the Museum of Liverpool. Didn't go in there, but it looked quite cool. Angular building. I took a panorama picture of the dock, that area. That was quite cool. Liked the dock area. And then I had my picture with a Beatles statue.
You're doing that had to do it to impose in front of the statue.
I'm just kind of like stood there like, and my eyes are closed. A nice lady offered to take my picture, and I said before I went that I'm not going to let anyone take the picture for me. I'm just going to snap a selfie with it, because it's a bit dangerous if you're on your own and someone's holding your phone for you. It's like the only thing I need to sort myself out, basically. So, but the thing is, this lady checked into my hotel right after me with her family, and seemed very nice, and like chatted to me for a brief moment, and we just happened to have gone to this thing at the same time, so she took the picture for me. So and I had my eyes closed, but I didn't want to tell her that my eyes were closed.
And you knew that she wasn't just like playing that whole long game just so that she knew that you would eventually trust her enough to give her your phone.
What they were all, it was actually, they were all part of a gang, the kids and everything.
Well, you laugh, but actually, sorry, I'm just going to interrupt. Actually, I did have a bit of a crazy story from that night out. It just didn't happen to me. Really quickly, my friend who stayed out later than me after I went home at 10, he got hit on by a rather, like a girl who's just, like, very obviously out of your league.
Yeah.
One of them. And
so basically every girl, then.
Yes. But he was about to leave this bar with her, and he got stopped by the police. And the police went, "Don't leave with her. We've been following her for a while. She's part of a gang, and she's getting lads drunk and taking them back to her place so she can get her brothers to rob them and beat them up." So they had to take my friend home in a police.
I reckon that almost happened to me one night, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I remember going out with a group of people and being absolutely just bladdered. I was like doing all sorts of crazy shit on this night out. And they'd gone home, and I was like, no, I'm not going home. I'm having too much fun. So we're like, all right, then fuck you. We're going to leave you. So I was like, all right, fine. So I was staying in this bar, drinking. And this girl kind of came up to me. And I was so drunk, so I don't remember. And she said something like, I need someone to like, or like, I want someone to make out with or something. And I'm like, all right. So we did, like right there, immediately. Yeah. And then she was like, oh, come over and meet my friend. And they're like, okay. So I went over. Yeah. And she said, oh, yeah, I've just like got off with him. And she was like, oh, right, were it good? And I swear to God, she went, oh, see for yourself. And I'm like,
wow.
And she was like, oh, and then looked at me. I was like, shrugged my shoulders type of thing, and then made out with her too. So I was like, okay, this is a sweet deal. But then a guy that I'd kind of met on that night out earlier, and I'd asked him to slap me in my face, and so it was weird. Came and we're like, oh, come, I want to show you something. Come with me. And we're like, I figured, oh, okay, well, I've made friends with this guy earlier. I was like, I'll be right back, ladies. I'm in high demand tonight. And then he took me down an alley and mugged me. But
oh wow.
So I think I was being set up for 2 crimes that night, because there's no way that they would just do that and not take me somewhere. But anyway, that's beside the point. Time to go back to family-friendly Liverpool story. If you want any more details on that, tweet at tweetsbadly on Twitter, first, and follow us there for stream news and all sorts of shit. Yes. Maybe we'll tell more interesting stories like that in future podcasts, which you can get on the Streams Badly YouTube channel. The video version goes up there. You can watch it live, twitch.tv/streamsbadly. Follow us there to listen to this podcast live, or the audio-only version goes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But on with my Liverpool story. I got my picture with this Beatles statue. My eyes were closed. It was fun. Whatever. And at this point, you can see that I'm like stood there like, because I was already having a right old time. I'd just gone to this Pew Pew bar. I've had some beers. I've got a nice fun room. I've worn a dressing gown that I've been given. You know, I've sat naked in a queen size bed on my own with a little tray desk. You know, sipping something, watching the Sandman show on Netflix, thinking this is getting weirder every episode. I don't know about this show. And then. Yeah, I wandered onto this statue. There was, I've got rid of the video that shows it. But my next plan of action was to go to Chinatown, because Liverpool's got a Chinatown. Now, I'd seen these scooters everywhere. These electric scooters. They have these in Leeds now, right?
These in Leeds, yeah.
How many is that? Are they common?
They're fairly common. They're mostly used by guys who are doing like Just Eat runs and stuff. You know, like people who work around town. They're common enough. Yeah.
Well, in Liverpool, they're like everywhere. They're like every 5 steps. They were everywhere. So I was already interested in what these sorts of things are like, but they were so kind of abnormally common. There to me, there was some right next to the statue, and I was thinking, oh, you know what? Maybe I should have a go on one of these. That might be fun. So yeah, I thought I'm going to download the app and register and everything, and I'll see how much it costs. Because if it costs like £15 to even get it started, then I'll just leave it. It's all right. But I was kind of thinking that like I'm basically on holiday here. You know, have a bit of fun. I'm basically being adventurous. Give it a bit of an adventurous thing. So I registered, and apparently it's £1 to get them started, just to go in the first place, and then it's 20 pence every minute, which I thought was really good for getting about a city. Yeah. Now, you do have to go through a safety test first before you're allowed to ride them. And it's a 5-question quiz, and I don't know why I don't know if you actually have to get any of them right.
All right, okay.
I didn't get all of them right. I got 4 out of 5 right, because this type of thing that's really obvious. But I've got a feeling that if you didn't get any right, it just wouldn't care for some reason. So I did that. Some of the rules around these things were you have to wear a helmet on them, and you can't be intoxicated in any way. Now,
Right.
I don't know who carries around a fucking safety helmet with them all the time.
Yeah.
And at this point, I was completely sober. Completely sober. Can't tell me otherwise. And somehow, for some reason, I don't know why I'd thought to do this, but I was bringing a safety helmet with me. Yes, I was wearing one. Can't tell me that I wasn't. So yeah, I thought I'd have a go and ride it to Chinatown. And it's weird to say, this was my favourite part of the whole trip. It was just, there was something so like atmosphere. The vibes were so good. Just kind of riding this electric scooter around this city that I'm exploring, off to go get like some Chinese food and explore a Chinatown, have some beers and just enjoy my own company and see what's about. Because sometimes when you go on a trip, it's like there's a social element of it. You kind of having a social trip, but when you're on your own, you are just appreciating like what's there. Like that's all you're doing. You're just doing what you want and having fun. So it was so fun listening to like a podcast, following my maps, whizzing through the city. And these things go fucking fast, actually. They go really fast. Well, not like really fast, but they go a lot faster than I expected. There's some... it's kind of zoned off, so you're not supposed to ride them on the pavement, but they still work on the pavement. People kind of like half ignore that. You go in bike lanes if there is one, for sure. But... it's kind of most of the time safer to ride on the pavement than the road, really. And I swear it's quicker than a car. So, yeah, that was fun. I whizzed on over to Chinatown on one of these. It was great. And you're only supposed to park it in certain areas, but there's always one really close. So that's where I went next, Chinatown. And just for the people who get offended at this type of shit when we post videos on YouTube, I arrived there and immediately, for some reason, it went dun 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 dun.
God damn it!
It obviously didn't. It's a joke.
It did, and somebody hit a big gong.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
That looks awesome. I love it when like cultures build shit like this. They don't need that there. They don't need that there. I love that they have that there.
Because let me tell you, that's all that there was. It's just this big.
Oh, was there?
It's basically the whole Chinatown of Liverpool. It's just this kind of like. I don't know what they're called. Is it a pagoda? I don't think that's what it is.
It's like an art.
It's just like this kind of big Chinese style archway, and it looks really cool. It's
might be, I don't know.
It was a cool thing to see and take a picture of, but I think you can kind of see if you look at the picture I took that past that, it's just not. There's a row of Chinese restaurants, but they're like they're Chinese takeaways as well. They're not like, it's not like a prestigious restaurant where like the quality is like amazing and everything like that.
I wanted it to be a full Chinese street, and I wanted it to be a little weird shop that sold antiques and like cursed items that was down this weird set of stairs.
And
I wanted to look in a box and be like, "What's this creature?" And the Chinese be like, "He is called a Mowgli." A Maogwai, whatever they're called. Maogwai.
Yeah.
Mowgli.
Mowgli's the kid from Jungle Book. It's just a kid crammed into the box. He's called Mowgli. Oh, please, I'm trapped.
I don't think I want to be here anymore.
Yeah, that happened though. So no, something similar happened though, because I did go down and stumble across this.
Oh, what's that? A gospel church.
Liverpool Chinese Gospel Church.
Gospel Church, yes.
I didn't think that. I don't know. I can't. When I think of Gospel Church, I think of like like Deep South. Oh Lord, yeah, praise the Lord. That sort of like the big extravagant singing type of whole deal. And I can't imagine a bunch of Chinese people doing that for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they do.
Well, Gospel Church. I don't know. It's Gospel Church just because obviously, like, if that's what it is, then I suppose any church could be a gospel church if it's just like singing hymns and stuff.
It's probably just like a type of teaching, like what they believe in. So like the Puritans were like really strict, for example. Catholics are fairly strict, but Church of England, not so strict. Stuff like that. Gospel will be a blend of that, but I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. But then I went and bought some Chinese snacks, because there was a supermarket there, a Chinese supermarket. So I thought, well, there's not much else here to see. I'm going to pop into the supermarket and I'm going to bring back some Chinese snacks to do a taste test. And that video will be going up on the Streams Badly YouTube channel, because I did a little taste test video of them. So subscribe. Come on. The fuck are you doing? Go on then. Well, you've not done it yet. Subscribe.
I've done it.
Come on. Yeah, down there. That's it. Go on, click. Okay. You can ring the bell as well while you're there. Just ring that. Then you'll know when the video's... Right? I know, okay, you don't have to ring the bell. I know that's annoying. It's okay. Anyway, so yeah, I got some Chinese snacks. There was some kind of like crisp things, but they were made of noodles and they were barbecue flavour.
Yeah.
So they were kind of like croutons in a way. They're kind of nice. We've still got some of those left. There was these like panda-shaped heads, like small ones. And they had like matcha cream in them. They kind of taste like grass a bit. They were okay, but I didn't really like them that much. Then we had these kind of like crunchy pastries filled with strawberry cream. They were really good. The worst bit was the lizard fish skewers.
Ah, the lizard fish skewers.
This was strips of lizard fish, don't know what that is, with some weird barbecue marinade on, and that seriously nearly made me puke. It was fucking gross. In fact, it meant that the kind of barbecue noodle things I now kind of associate with when I tried that lizard fish, and whenever I taste those barbecue things, they taste good, but I can't enjoy them because I remember eating the other thing, and yeah... So, I don't know, that was kind of fun, though. I had a pear drink as well. That was quite good. Chinese snack. Good. But then I went back and had some Chinese food. Chinese restaurant. It tasted like a Chinese takeaway. Not much to say about that, really.
Yes. Good.
It was fine. But after that, I thought one of the things that I had on the list of stuff I wanted to do was go to a comedy club, because I saw that there's a comedy club there, and it must be reasonably famous to be on the list of stuff to do that I was looking at. And I looked it up to see. I thought, well, I don't want to spend loads of money. I'll see how much tickets are. And apparently, the night I was there, it was free for some reason.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool. So I finished my meal and thought, I'm going to take another one of those scooters over. Because I had so much fun on them. They were so fun.
Yeah.
So I just whizzed over to the Hot Water Comedy Club. Which, it was quite cool. So I got there and the bouncer was kind of like talking to someone and sorting out their ticket or whatever. And then after they went in, he talked to them like normal and kind of let them in. After they went in, I approached him. And I think he must have thought I was just some sort of weirdo because obviously they're used to dealing with like weird people like on evenings and things. It was starting to get a bit dark at this point. So I kind of just walked up to him and like, I think he went, hello? Like, as in like, what do you want? And I was kind of like, in my head I was thinking, what do you think I want? You're meant to be like letting people into this comedy club. And I went, can I come in, please? And he was like, I think he said, is it just you? And I'm like, yep. Or he might have said how many... No, what he said was, have you got a ticket? And I was thinking, it's free. What are you on about? Can't I just go in? And then I went, so I said to him, oh no, do I need to get one? And I don't know, he was really weird and funny with me.
Yeah.
He kind of wrote my name down, gave me a stamp, and he told me that I had to put my Chinese grocery bag behind the bar. Oh. Maybe that's what he thought was weird. That was holding a bag full of Chinese showed up with groceries. But I did. So, I don't know, whatever. But I got there at about 10 to 7, and as you can see in this picture, which was taken with a wide-angle lens, it was quite full. I was sat at the back. It weren't a big place, and so you went in, and the bar was upstairs, and then the comedy club was downstairs, so loads of people were already down there, and you ordered drinks on an app, which so I'd handed over my bag and I'd gone downstairs, and you can see there's a guy who was sat right in front of me. Now, I'd handed over my bag, and I was a bit scared to notice that he had definitely not handed over his massive bulging rucksack that he had on his knee. I was thinking, if this place has enough trouble to the point where I have to hand over my Chinese grocery bag, why has this guy got a massive rucksack on his knee?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit sus of this. But it was obviously fine. And I proceeded to order on the app a 4-pint pitcher of beer. Because I was thinking, I don't want to be going up to the bar the whole time. I don't want to like stand up in the middle of a comedy set, because you know what they're like for heckling people who have got up in the middle of sets and things like that. So this guy brought this pitcher full of Coors Lights, because that was the cheapest thing they had, and he brought 4 pint glasses with it, and he said, "How many glasses is it?" And I went, "Just the one." And he kind of went, "Nice." That was kind of his reaction.
Nice.
So yeah, I got that. So the comics, they were pretty good. I quite liked it. The host was obviously from around where we're from, which was quite nice for me. I did do a thing where I tried to. I thought, I'm gonna be a bit brave. I'm gonna chat to the person next to me, the people next to me. It was a couple. Not like massively. I'm not gonna force myself upon them, but I'm gonna do a speech check. Is what I'm gonna do. So I did say to the guy next to me, fella next to me,
not good, not your forte, not good.
It isn't. I've not got a high speech score.
You don't have proficiency in speech checks.
All I said to him was, "Oh God, it's warm in here, isn't it?" 'Cause it kind of was. Like outside was reasonably chilly, but inside it were warm. And he went, "Oh yeah." He weren't interested. No.
Yeah.
I don't think I said it in a weird way at all or anything like that. I think my speech attempt was pretty good. I think he wasn't good at receiving speech either. They were very they were introverts. They weren't. So the host was from like Yorkshire area, and he was quite funny. He obviously wasn't he'd not prepared anything, because if he's hosting every night, he's not going to prepare stuff. So he was just chatting to people on the front row, and there was this group of chavvy looking guys, like kind of like, I don't want to say gangster or thuggy looking, like a bit like kind of shitty, kind of slightly trashy thuggy looking.
Yeah, because it's not intimidating what we have over here. They just look like chavs and dickheads.
Yeah, but I mean, you won't want to cross them. You don't want them to be pissed at you, because they will shank the shit out of you.
Yeah, because what they'll do is either like 10 of them will all jump on you because they can't fight actual fights for themselves, or they'll have a knife on them and they'll stab you over the slightest infraction. Because, you know, they're obviously got so many drugs pumping through the veins at that any given time.
They've got junkie strength.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, so obviously, the comedians were gonna talk to these guys.
Yeah.
And the first guy did, and the host did, and it was funny, and it was funny, but they were talking back a lot, and I think it's quite an Irish thing that I've personally experienced. It seems they're not afraid to like talk a lot and things like that. So they didn't have the social wherewithal to understand that, like, stop responding so much, stop saying so much back to the comedian, because it's like, it's not that they were getting ribbed more, that weren't the problem. It's more just like it's not funny. Like, you're just saying a bunch of shit. So they were trying to kind of like, the comedians were trying to socially calm them down a bit, trying to make them shut up.
Yeah.
And the first guy who got up was attempting to do that as well. This comedian was like, he was half playing a character that was kind of based off of him, type of thing. So he was like in his 40s and lives in a house share with 6 other people in their 40s. You know, like kind of like a sad dude like that. That's kind of like the vibe he was playing off of. And he was getting nervous around these guys, or playing nervous for comedic effect.
Yeah.
And but they wouldn't shut up. So at one point, they started to get kicked out. And
Did they?
yeah, so two of them just kind of left, and then one of them were like squaring up to the bouncer that were down there, saying like, "Why? What for though? Like, why are you doing it? Why are you kicking that out? Why?" Like, and they coughed in his face, and you're not allowed to do that. No,
you're not allowed to do that anymore.
No, he didn't do that. But to be honest, I was sat down thinking, I don't know why they're kicking you out, to be honest. They didn't do anything wrong. They were just Irish. No, they were just, like, too talkative.
Yeah.
To the comedian. They weren't talking to each other and interrupting the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think they realised that and let him back after that guy had finished. But the first comedian was quite funny. I quite liked his kind of shtick, because I can relate slightly, I think, for some reason. And he's quite funny. And the host came up again and like re-welcomed back those lads. The second guy seemed a bit more laddish, and I didn't find him as funny. He weren't unfunny. He were quite good, but like I didn't find him quite as funny. I did quite like him. And then the last one was this woman who was obviously local, and that's why she was like the headlining act, because they thought more people would know her, I think. But she had a very strong Liverpool accent, and I couldn't really hear everything she was saying. I could make out most of it, but she weren't really very funny, to be honest. It was like she would say something that was more of a statement, and then some people would laugh, but she'd like, you could tell that was her punchline. And she was kind of like expecting people to laugh at that point. Like, an example is, so currently I've got a mattress against my wall here. So her delivery would be like, oh, and you know, I've had a mattress against my wall for about 3 weeks now. That's it. That's it. That's what she's expecting you to laugh at. So, you know, it was like, she'd say that, and some people would laugh, and I'd be like, what? Now, at this point, I had another reason to not be happy, because I'd come back from the toilet in the interval, and I had about half a pint left in my pitcher, and the bar staff had taken it.
What?
They'd left I had like almost a full pint in my pint glass, and then a bit and half a pint's left in my pitcher, and they must have thought that I were done with it, but they didn't bloody ask me or anything. I was thinking, like, that's like 3 quid's worth of beer right there that you've just nicked from me.
Yeah.
So it weren't that bad, though. And so I actually ended up walking out in the middle of this woman's set because I didn't find her funny. I'd finished my beer and I needed a wee. So I was thinking, I might be able to fit something else in tonight if I leave now. And it were only about 8:30. It were like, well, maybe 20 to 9, something like that. Because we're only on for a couple hours, this thing, so I kind of just fucked off. I was like, I ain't doing this shit with this unfunny woman.
Okay.
So I ended up wandering about. I saw this castle that, from what I could hear, really sounded like it had been converted into a club.
That's a church, I think, buddy.
Yeah, I realised I said castle. Church.
Yeah.
It was a church.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like there was like dance music coming from it.
That's
I'm pretty sure
that's
there was a
cool.
happening.
I would have loved to have gone in there. I've always wanted to go in like a church that's been converted into like a club.
I wasn't about to investigate and see. I'm not 100% sure it was. It might have just been lights up and I was hearing like club music. I don't know. But it seemed like it was coming from in there. If I was with someone, I would have gone and seen what that was about. But you know, I'd got some bravery already. But going to a club on my own, that one was too far.
Yeah, if it was in a church though, I do think I'd have to go in. I'd have to see what that was about.
Yeah, it seemed pretty cool. I think what I will say about this trip is there's so much that'd be worth doing, even if you didn't do any of what I did on this trip.
Yeah.
So that looked pretty cool. I saw this kind of like neon bar called Jimmy's. It looked kind of cool. Lots of neon signs. And then I went to the arcade bar.
Nice.
It was underground. It had luminous paint all over it. Neon lighting in there. It looked quite cool. We've got an arcade bar near us, and the aesthetics of this one were cooler. But the one near us is better. You had to do tokens at this one, which I understand, but when you use tokens, like these games are like old games that are in arcades are so brutally hard that it just feels like you've just had your money stolen from you most of the time. So I did get some tokens and play because I thought, why not? I've managed to squeeze this in as well, and it was quite fun. My favourite game, because I could make it last longer, ended up being Lord of the Rings Pinball.
Oh, nice.
But they did have a decent selection. It weren't as big as the one near us either. And the bar was kind of more expensive. They had their own beer on draft, which was quite cool, but they also had like arcade game themed cocktails if you're into that. I think that's just a bit of like a scam, to be honest, really. It's just a cocktail that's got a different name. So, I don't know, it was quite kind of fun. Played some Tetris. They had a sign that made me think of us. It says, "No drinks on machines, fuckers." So I thought that's kind of like what we would put on the machines if we owned an arcade bar. It was quite fun. I had a bit of fun in there. There was some... This was like gone 9 o'clock at this point. So because we were in a city with like students and things like that, it's gone 9 o'clock. There were some weirder people in here. There were some kind of like goblins in here.
Yeah.
But I felt at home, you know. I was wandering around with my Chinese groceries and a pint of beer playing these games. I fit right in. It wasn't a problem. So that was fun. There was a cool looking street that I went down after that. I was only walking down this street because I couldn't find one of the scooters. I was trying to find another scooter. At this point, I'm quite drunk. I've had 4 pints, 2 shots, 5 pints, 9 pints, 10 pints. I've had 10 pints and a couple shots at this point. So I'm wandering around thinking, I'm going to go on a scooter again. I wasn't that drunk, though. So I was wandering down this street, like looking at Google Maps on the way back to the hotel, and I was thinking at this point, I did have that Chinese food earlier, but I didn't end up ordering much. If I see like a kebab shop or a pizza shop or something on the way back to the hotel, I'm gonna sneak in there and get something. What I saw before that, though, was a Mexican restaurant that was open at like 10 to 10. It was 10 to 10. Okay. It was open. So I saw it and I was thinking, why the fuck is this place still open? I'm going to see if they're still serving food, just by some chance. Yeah. So this is what it looked like. I went in and I just asked the guy who was like on the door. I just said, are you still serving food by any chance? And he said, I'll just double check with the kitchen. He was Mexican, but I'm not going to do the accent. Yeah. I'm just going to double check with the kitchen. And he came back and went, yes, take a seat here. And I specifically said to him, I don't mind if it's much of a problem. I don't have to. And he was like, no, it's fine. So I had another pint and a burrito at like 10 p.m. In this like full, like, it weren't like a takeaway restaurant. It was a restaurant.
It's a nice Mexican restaurant, yeah.
It was really good as well. I think I kind of messed it up a bit for them because this couple must have seen I've gone in there and they followed me in and they ordered basically at the same time as me. So I wasn't even the only one in there. But that was quite fun having a Mexican at that time and just kind of like watching some YouTube, eating a burrito and on this and this place was like a bit of a strip that had a bunch of bars and stuff down it, and it was kind of odd being sat in a restaurant that late watching people stumble out of bars and things like that. And then I spotted this club called, it was a bar called Coyote Ugly, and my mum's told me that these bars are just like this, but it looks normal from the outside, but I saw people fucking dancing on the bar. Well, that was weird. I tried to take a picture of Greg's, but it got very blurry because I was boasting about Liverpool the whole time to my girlfriend, and I was like, oh, actually, don't like this place. It's Greg's is shut. It's at like 10:30, and I'm like, Greg's is shut. That's a bit early for me. But then I think I don't know what the next picture is. I don't want to do any spoilers, you see. I know it is. But so and then I found a scooter and I scooted my way home. I think that a hidden feature of these scooters is that they're almost like a late night safety thing. If you're not so drunk that you're gonna like hurt yourself, if you can definitely drive one of these things, one of the rules is you're only supposed to have one per scooter. So that could be a difficulty if one of you's sober and one's not, but you know how these things work. If you're sober enough to ride one of these and not let the alcohol hurt you, I think they will help you stop you getting mugged and things like that. Because if you think about it, you're kind of whizzing along. How's anyone going to mug you?
I know, but I also feel like equally there's enough arseholes out there that if you were going past somebody and they saw you, I reckon they'd just like beat you up just because you're on a scooter and they
No, they're everywhere. There was loads of people on them.
Yeah.
No, like, how are they going to do? Are they going to catch me? I'm doing like 12 miles an hour. What are they going to do?
Well, they're going to ambush you. They're going to wait and they're going to set up traps.
I've already gone past them. I've gone.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
They're waiting they're waiting for, they've got traps set up.
You activated my trap card. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Now.
Yeah.
So I actually genuinely think that so long as you're sober enough, they're a decent way to get about on an evening. So that was pretty cool. So I got back, and I've been having a medical condition, Judd.
Oh, so that's fun.
Recently, since I've moved into this house, I don't think it's to do with the house, but around this time, my ears have felt a bit kind of clogged, and they've been feeling slightly more and more clogged. Okay. And at night, I'll go to sleep, and then in the morning, I wake up, and my ears blocked for like a minute maybe, and then it kind of settles down and unblocks. So that's been happening for a little while. I've not thought anything of it because it's not really done anything bad to me at all. But when I was here and I got back, I'd just finished on phone with my girlfriend who were checking up on me, making sure I'm all right. And one of my ears sealed up before going to bed.
Right, okay.
So that freaked me out because I was kind of tipsy, and I didn't like that. It's really weird when it's anything to do with like your ears and your eyes and stuff like that. It's a bit freaky. So I panicked and searched how you can clean your ears, and like kind of shoved some water in them and shoved some like tissue up them and tried to kind of rinse them out. Well, rinse out this one that were blocked. And luckily it did kind of pretty much worked. So I thought, right, that's worked. I'm happy with how that's worked. I'm gonna do the other one. So the other one wasn't blocked the same, but it has been happening to both ears. Now, I did it to the other one, and I fucked it. I blocked it. I blocked it right up.
Nice.
So, and then after that point, I couldn't get it unblocked again. So I'm like, for fuck's sake. So this is the aftermath of what it looked like.
God.
I had so much wax in my ears.
Why?
I don't know. I just had a shit ton of wax in my ears. If you're watching the video version, you can see...
That's so much!
Well, if you think that's a lot, we'll get to it. So, yeah, I had to sleep with fucked up ear, which it weren't great. Like, one of the one that was blocked, that kind of naturally blocked itself, had become unblocked, but still weren't amazing. It were all right, but it weren't amazing. And then one of them were just blocked. I was basically deaf in one ear. So the next day I got up and I was planning on doing some more things because my parking lasted until about 3 o'clock, but I didn't end up doing that much. I walked past these weird like statues of
they're terrible. I don't want to look at them.
One looks like a clown. I don't know. They were weird.
I was just thinking about how I want you to get to the next slide so I don't have to look at all your earwax, and now immediately want to go back. Go back. That's better. Thank God.
I saw those. They were outside an art museum, and then I saw these old boats. I thought I should take some pictures of the pretty things. That's what you're supposed to do in it when you go on a trip. I saw this massive like pile of coloured rocks. That was quite cool.
They're my favourite thing so far.
It was shaped in the shape of a T because it was the Tate Modern Art Museum. It's one of those.
Now see, because now it's meant to be something. I don't care for it.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be the case.
Yeah.
This was the dock that I wandered around. So there's this kind of like in Liverpool. There's this. It's like if you think of it as like a square, you know, like a town square where you might walk around it, and there's loads of shops and restaurants, all in a square, and there might be like a little park or something in the middle. Well, Liverpool's got one of those right on the dock, and it's got a bunch of boats and water in the middle. And there was loads of looking nice restaurants and stuff around here. It were really nice, actually. It were like quite nice weather. The sun was shining. And I was wandering around here and I was thinking, oh, this would be amazing if I weren't deaf. Because I could have spent a long time there and looking in some shops and stuff, but I ended up just kind of thinking, I'm going to get a bit of food and then leave. So I had a delicious mac and cheese with chorizo on top.
Oh, yes.
Everyone I've shown this picture is like, oh my God, that looks amazing.
That's fucking awesome.
I thought that was
a lasagna. Now that you're saying that that's a mac and cheese, that's got my cock a bit hard. That yeah.
It was good, but it was one of those things where it was so indulgent and nice that I couldn't finish it. It were really like, it were too much by the end of it, but it was nice. Plus, I'd been drinking a lot the night before, and you know what I'm like with my emergency poos. I was getting to the point where I was like, oh, is this a feeling of an emergency poo? I'm starting to feel it. I'm like, right, I'm going to pay.
You've got like a fork full of mac and cheese, and you're sort of like, it's nearly going in your mouth, but you're like, I don't know if I need to shit.
Yeah, that is actually what it was like. So I was like, right, I'm leaving this. I'm going to go pay, and then I'm going to immediately ask her where the nearest toilets are. And I went, and I didn't need an emergency poo. It just turned out I was very full from the mac and cheese. So that was fine, and I caught one last video that was pretty cool. Let me see if I can put the sound on this. It's of the love locks that are around this kind of like chain fence that's right on the front, and there was loads of them. And there was also a busker singing "Let It Be" like right next to them, and. I also showed like the dock and things like that all there, and it was honestly just such a gorgeous, perfect video. Does that not look like an amazing time to you?
Yeah.
Can you just imagine? You like wandering around places?
I do actually. No, I love this. I think it's great.
So I think you would have really appreciated that moment as well. So.
Yeah.
That was cool. What wasn't as cool was driving back for 2 hours straight with only one ear working most of the time. It weren't that bad, but it was kind of weird in the sense that like all the sound in my car sounded like it was coming from the middle of the car. So I don't know. That was kind of odd. But speaking of cars, when I pulled up back to my house. I'm actually not going to show this on video or on the stream or anything like that. There was a random car just parked up in front of my house, but in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's not like off to the side. That's in the middle of the road. Yeah.
And one of the windows is fully open. It's the passenger side, fully open, facing towards the pavement, towards my house. And the wing mirror on that side, the case of it, like the coloured bit of it on the outside, not the mirror itself bit, was like completely off of it, and it was tucked in. So I was like, this is kind of weird. This, surely someone's not just left their car like that. So looking around it, like, it's kind of dirty on the front, and then I looked in the passenger side, and there's a bunch of like finance information for how much it'd cost to buy it, how much it'd be a month, and things like that. And the lease company on it is the same lease company that I'm leasing my car with.
Right.
It was a Ford Fiesta, like my car, and it. I know that Ford uses this leasing company for their cars because I lease with Ford.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's very sus that all that shit's in it still. So I'd only seen one side at this point, so I made sure to show it near my car, and then I thought, right, the reason I'm filming this is because I'm thinking, right, if anything's fucked up with this car, I don't want to be blamed for it. I'm like, I've just pulled up, and I've just seen this, I'm filming it all. There was a big dint in the other side, and the area where the key would go in to unlock it was it was busted up.
Yeah.
So I made sure to film that, and then the driver side window was slightly open as well. It was open, and so I filmed it, and I just thought it were really sus. And then I called up the lease company And they didn't actually answer, but they called me back within like 10 minutes, and they were like, "Oh, is it a red Fiesta?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And like, "Oh yeah, it was stolen last night off our forecourt." So I'm thinking, "Oh my god!" So they said, "Are you gonna be in like within next hour? Because we'll come and get it." I said, "Yeah, just knock on the door if you need me. Whatever, come and get it. I don't want a stolen car parked outside my house."
Yeah.
So they did come and get it, but the police also came as well. And they were outside, and I made sure to mention that someone had tried to break into my girlfriend's car recently around here, because that's important information. And my next door neighbour said he'd already reported it earlier on to the police. And apparently there was a car further down the road as well. So 2 of them had been stolen.
What the fuck? You know what it is? It's the guys who like messed up Jasmine's car. Obviously, listened to the podcast, and they went, "Well, we need to make it up to them." So they stole you a car. They were like, "Here you go."
Oh god, it's just fucking. I don't get it though, because this is like a newer car. I think it's probably a 2014 car. It had keyless entry, so it weren't a basic spec car either. And they're fairly new because they're from a car dealership as well. They're not going to be like old bangers. Why wouldn't you try and sell them or something like that? Why wouldn't you try and make some money off them rather than just like smashing them up? That's such a shit waste of potentially getting caught and put down into prison.
Yeah, it's stupid. Do you think they expected it to go further and like it just happens to have run out of petrol in front of your house?
It very well could be. That was one of the theories that they had, because they don't put much petrol in them, because they've only got to have just enough to do a test drive, and that's it. So that's one of the theories, But the thing that kind of I don't get with that is why were they both abandoned within like 300 meters of each other on the same street?
Yeah,
that doesn't make much sense to me. I could see it with the one that were parked in the middle of the road because the other one was kind of pulled up. But if one of them's run out of petrol, surely they'd go and get in the other one. No?
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. So I found that kind of weird. Plus, I was chatting to the guy from the dealership, and he said that the thing is with these keyless entries ones, they bust the lock on the outside so that they can get in. And then they plug a computer into them, and they can start them using a computer. Now, if someone knows how to do that, they can't be that thick, can they? So, if you're smart enough to be able to do that, surely you're not going to be so stupid that you run out of fucking petrol. Surely. You know? Or just, surely, why would you be stupid enough to the point where you bust up the car and don't get anything out of it as well? It don't compute to me, that. But not only that, my next door neighbour said he'd been walking his dog across the cornfields near our house, and he'd seen that there were all sorts of crap thrown all over him, and they looked like this. And this video I'm going to show you, there was like a big thing where they'd rammed through them. So they'd actually gone through the cornfields. And what's really weird about it is, there was a bunch of stuff chucked out, but a lot of it was like kids' stuff. It was like a kid's seat and like Barbie dolls and things like that. So I was just thinking, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, what are these people doing? These are the smartest stupid people I've ever known. Like, what are you doing? Why are you just stealing cars to ride them into a fucking cornfield? Like, it can't be that fun. It can't be. Like, if you can't afford a car of your own to just drive about like that down some streets or something, then why don't you, at least, the thing that I find bonkers is use your criminal skills for your own good then. Steal some cars to make some fucking money, at least. You know, if you're going to do it, at least make something out of it. But I don't know. It's crazy, the whole story. So I don't know what's going on to do with it. It's nothing to do with us anymore. But at the end of this video you've just seen me play, you can see me kind of running. Kind of freaked out. This is because we were videoing this and we heard whoop whoop, like a police siren on the street. That's just like, it's like 3 meters to the left of where we were filming all this. So I'm like, oh shit, we're at the scene of a crime and a police car's just turned up. Oh, for fuck's sake. So we kind of wanted to be like, do, nothing to see here. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with that, but good God. It's so weird. But that's not all, Judd. That's not everything I've got to tell you to do with this shit. Because I got a little device. I got home. Well, when I was still in Liverpool, I panic ordered a Wi-Fi enabled endoscope. Do you know what that is?
No. Is it today's sponsor?
It's today's sponsor, endoscope. No, it's like a long thin camera with a light on the end that you can like stick in places to see stuff, and it connects to your phone and you can see the image.
Yeah, I know. You stick it down your pee hole, yeah.
Oof, God. I wouldn't dare. It's a bit thick for that. Oof, God. I maybe could, if you're into that shit. But anyway. Yeah, so I got it, because it's got some rubber tips for the end of it to scoop wax out of your ears.
Oh.
So.
Okay.
I've not got the videos. I've not got the videos!
That's good. I don't need to see the video.
I'm going to send you the videos. It's okay. I'll show you some pictures first. So I did some cleaning of my ears. I did go to the doctors today about my ears, and they were like, "Oh, you shouldn't have cleaned your ears. That's bad for you." And they were like, "We're gonna send you to the ear specialist because we don't fucking give a shit."
I thought you were gonna say, we're gonna send you to prison because you cleaned your ears.
No, we're gonna send you to the ear specialist because we don't fucking care. And I'm kind of thinking, you've just fobbed me off. I should have. I'm just fuck you. I'm just gonna do it myself. So ears. I'm. The max file size is 8 megabytes.
Oh, send me on Facebook. Send me on Facebook.
Okay. I'm gonna send you some video of my ears, but I'll show you what I ended up cleaning out of them. Nope.
That's fucking...
It's this. This is the amount of wax I got out of my ears. That's insane. I know people can't see that on the audio version.
Why?
But there was so much. So I've basically got 3. You can picture like a piece of toilet paper. I've got 3 of those that are like covered in little splodges of wax that I've kind of scooped out and kind of wiped off onto there. I used some cotton buds as well, mixed with some water. And I've put a penny for Judd's benefit so he can get an idea of the size of these things. Have you got the videos?
Well, it's not a video. It's just a fucking. It's just a. It's literally just the. I know it's from the thing, so it's just the circle. There we go. That's the working thing. There we go. This is kind of cool. I gotta admit, I'm like scenery.
So this is for the video version. You can see what was in my ears right now, and then there's these videos. So the first video I've sent to you, Judd, is what was in my ears.
It's like a wall of wax. It
is. It's a wall of wax. It's crazy, and it's like black. It's like black tar. Now, where you can see the hairs around the like the kind of circular bit, that's the entrance of my ears. So it goes all the way back, and your ears go further back than you'd think.
Yeah.
So I did some digging and some scooping, and eventually, if you look at what I'm sharing now, I got out this big kind of. It was like an earplug. You know the earplugs. You know, if you are on site, you might put using a drill, for example. You might put some earplugs in, or if you're going to go to sleep, it was like that. Or you know the plastic bits on the end of some earbuds for people who've used earbuds. It was that big, and it was jammed in my ear, and it was a mixture of mostly wax, some hair, and then a bit of tissue as well from where I'd been cleaning stuff out. But it was huge. It was far too big, and that came out of the ear that wasn't blocked. That came out of the other one that I could just about hear out of. And then yesterday, I plucked out another ball that was nearly as big as well. That I'm showing to you now, Judd. So it's actually crazy. The difference between I've managed to clean out my ear a lot. I'll take a picture for you of what it looks like now. I can't be bothered. It's my left ear's a lot cleaner. But my right one's still. My right one, I think, got a bit swollen from kind of like prodding and trying to get wax out of it. So I think that's what was blocking my right ear more recently, and it's been steadily getting better. I can hear out of both ears pretty good now. The right one feels slightly not as good, but anyway, that was that's everything, I think, for my ears and all that fucking adventure, stolen cars and all sorts. I forgot a couple things about the comedy club I wanted to tell you though, Judd. I was doing really well. I was getting everything in order, and but I forgot something from the comedy club. So there was 2 people in the audience that were weird. I suppose you could call them
Jordan and Jake.
Of the week.
No, freak of the week. I don't know.
Oh.
No, but yeah, these guys. So there was a guy sat in front of me, and he had a very distinct laugh, but he weren't laughing at the most funny bits that most people were laughing at. He was laughing at, like, you know, sometimes they do smaller jokes on the way that are like setups. He was laughing a lot more at those, but he would laugh like this. He would go, ho, 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 ho. So it was really weird and awkward because they'd tell like a smaller joke that people would be like, oh, so, and he would go, ho, 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 ho. And everyone would be like, what the fuck? So that guy was kind of odd. And then there was another guy behind me. And there were some girls behind him who were chatting a bit too much, to be fair. But he said to him, I don't think he turned round. He just kind of put his hand in front of him and said, shut the fuck up or get out. Or something like that. And he was being like really quite aggressive and like kind of like assertive man type of thing. And they were like, all right, fucking calm down. Sure, all right then. And they ended up like kind of in the interval talking it out and like getting along actually. But this dude who was obviously trying to alpha these women at one point, he laughed kind of normal amount at like everything other than any bit of comedy that was like referencing being gay. Anytime it was to do with being gay, he would laugh a bit much, like more than he would laugh at anything else. And I was thinking, like, even during when like the comedy show, I was thinking, this guy's gay. This guy's in the closet. Because it was like a suspicious amount every time. Yeah. And especially on top of like trying to seem assertive and like, you know. So that was that. That's been my trip. I think it was quite a long, eventful one, full of like I said, crime, earwax, like medical conditions, fucking various bits of comedy, people getting thrown out of bars, getting all sorts of shit going off. I think this was a good one. Was this a good one, Judd? I basically just talked to you the whole time. Maybe that's why I think it was good.
Yeah, I didn't like the wax stuff. I really could have done without the wax stuff.
You had your bowel story. Like, come on, you got your bowels. I got my waxy ears.
For some reason, I'm not making you look at pictures of my shit though. Like,
I suppose. What I said to the ear doctor today was, why do your ears get ear wax that can so obviously go wrong and like form a seal, but your nose gets like snot instead, like a liquid that like doesn't go wrong as much, or at least to me it seems like it's way less likely to go wrong. And he was like, oh, I don't know, mate. And I thought, wait, this is not filling me with confidence. But anyway,
great,
that's the podcast. What you got? Anything else to say, Judd?
That I think I'm all good, mate. I'm not interested. You know, I'm not interested.
Well, take that advice with you, folks. I'm all good, me. Live life like that to the point where you can say, I'm all good, me. Bye.
Yep.